artificial and artificial intelligence, the talk of the town right now.
Yes, yes. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. I don't know what it is, but what is the difference between these things?
Yeah, these are the different. These on surface we find different things, but uh, in actual field, these all things are interrelated. Uh,
Okay.
Machine learning was a widely discussed topic a few years ago. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
mainly for the programmers. Then it was data science, data
Mm-hmm.
mining, all these things. See, all these things at the end makes artificial intelligence. Machine learning is uh, we have biological neurons in our brain. The computers we have created, they have silicon neurons, you can say. Okay, this is not exact comparison, but it's similar in function in some ways. Okay, in limited ways. So what
Mm-hmm.
computer scientists and the whole industry is trying to do, trying to mimic the human intelligence through semiconductors. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
speaking straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
what we have evolved through biology over all these years, the intelligence we have, we are trying to mimic that kind of intelligence through the use of semiconductors, through the use of chips, electricity, machines, its programming. So the programming which goes into AI is the machine learning thing. Okay, for a layman, simply saying, the machines which can learn. Okay, and create something of its own. We'll speak of
Okay.
artificial intelligence mainly. Artificial
Mm-hmm.
intelligence, it doesn't have any specific uh, 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 any specifics of it. Okay, no specifics are defined for what is an artificial intelligence. But uh, there was a man, Alan Turing, a British person,
Mm-hmm.
uh, who invented a kind of test how to judge whether the machine has artificial intelligence. What test he has
Mm-hmm.
devised was very much crude and simple. What it was like, if you are having a communication with a machine or any
Mm-hmm.
system per se, any system which you don't know, either it is machine or man, at the end of
Mm-hmm.
conversation, you still don't know, you cannot judge whether it was a man or machine. Then,
Mm-hmm.
whatever is at the end is an intelligence. If it is a man,
Mm-hmm.
it is a biological intelligence. If it's a machine, it's artificial intelligence. That was so simple.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alan Turing was a famous personality. He has his own beautiful story of his life, which ended in a tragedy. That's altogether a
Mm-hmm.
different story for another episode. But what Alan Turing did was he invented uh, machines and its kind of programming to decode German intelligence. Germans
Okay.
in World War II, they communicated through encrypted messages about their resources, inventories across the field, their
Mm-hmm.
attack strategies, all sorts of things, all sorts of military communication basically. It was encrypted. Britishers tried to decode their communication because all those communications were on the air. Anybody having a radio could listen it, but they could not make it out what they are saying because it was encrypted. Because a simple form of encryption, I'll tell you, if I want to attack Normandy, okay, yeah. Otherwise, I want to pull the resource at Normandy. The communication
Okay.
would be encrypted, so it won't be like we are going to compile or put together all our resources at Normandy at such and such date. Okay, it won't be like that. It will be Normandy would be replaced by something else, like say Angel. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Angel City would be Angel City would be like going to be poured with grapes. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. So the original words would be replaced by some other word. This is very normal
Mm-hmm.
form of encryption which was used in older days. In computer days, encryption is much harder. Every alphabet is encrypted sometimes. In those times, I think it was all the characters, bits of information were encrypted. So Britishers captured that communication, but they were unable to decrypt it. So uh, they put together a team of brilliant men in UK. Alan Turing was one of them. In fact, he headed the team, and they came up with that fabulous machine which decrypted the German messages, which greatly
Right.
helped allies to win the World War II. Okay,
Okay.
so this is like about Alan Turing. I went into the
Okay.
depth. Okay, but this is general idea. So he was the first person in modern times who came up with a definition for artificial intelligence, and it was very much limited to the conversational part of it. What, how he defined artificial intelligence? Like, if any conversational machine which can hide its identity, whether it's a man or a machine, okay, then you have come across an artificial intelligence. If an intelligence, machine generated intelligence, can match the conversational levels of a human, that is artificial intelligence. It was so simple by those days.
Right.
Yeah, I think you have put yourself on speaker.
No, no, no.
Yeah. So, but nowadays, that was an old definition. Now it's much more complicated. Before defining artificial intelligence, we need to define what is an intelligence itself. How can we define a thing is intelligent enough uh, to use the resources wisely to achieve certain goal? This can be
Okay.
a crude definition for intelligence. Okay.
Hmm.
By that definition, most of the animals are intelligent. Okay, because they carry out their bodily functions, lively functions throughout their lifetime, right?
Right.
So that is intelligence. But the way we have evolved our brain and specifically speaking, frontal cortex,
Hmm.
prefrontal cortex, this thing in our brain, the top layer of the brain, which makes us think of things apart from livelihood, philosophy, art, generations, thoughts, education, art creation, all sorts of things. These are the modern intelligent things, or the humanly intelligent things. So, artificial intelligence was a thing back in 60s and 70s also.
Oh.
But yeah,
Okay.
yes, absolutely. When microprocessor was itself in its initial stages, by that time also artificial intelligence was a thing in the semiconductor industry. But the major uh, roadblock, you can say, or limitation to that thing was the hardware, because by those times hardware, you, because we all know it was very much in initial stages. So
Hmm.
in 60s, 70s, 80s, it fell behind. Okay, then there came up time when nobody was talking of artificial intelligence. Okay, so it went off the market for all the purposes and intentions mostly. But then came up 80s, 90s, 2000s. 2000s were the time of internet. Then from 2010 onwards, it was
Hmm.
smartphones. Okay,
Yes.
and
Yes.
one another thing which jumped up by these times was particularly hardware and the algorithms. Hardware per se, it was basically this graphic hardware, the
Okay.
things, graphic cards, which were used mostly for gaming and supercomputers. These
Okay.
two things were the main users of these heavy hardware, graphic hardware.
Hmm.
Then programmers came up with uh, programs, algorithms, which could use these graphic hardware to some scientific purposes. So
Hmm.
environmental science, then all kinds of data science, oil industry. Oil industry was the major user of this graphic hardware and the programs built upon it.
Okay.
Yeah, for the mining purposes. Like a simple example could be uh, if a particular area if you feed up all the data of that topography, seismic data, all sorts of other things, then it could predict the oil production number for certain years, profitability thing, all sorts of things that oil industry could need. So that was the user base of this major hardware and programs in
Mm.
initial stages. Just a moment. Huh? So the major jump, how the artificial intelligence thing came in discussion again. So it was due to this hardware progress.
Right.
So what happened? Then came the term machine learning. What is a machine learning thing is, see, actually there are no neurons in semiconductor itself. It is the same
Mm.
semiconductor, okay, PNP semiconductor, okay, the same
Right.
semiconductor it is, but how programmers have developed their programs and algorithms is, if it is fed with data and it is fed up with big data again and again, it can recognize patterns. What human
Mm.
intelligence is, it is smart at identifying patterns. I'll give an
Mm.
example how a human being learns to uh, know the things around in its surroundings. A small
Mm.
baby uh, whose age is a few months. Okay, if you play with that baby, what you see by, like, all the times that baby is trying to grab the object regardless of distance. If
Mm.
you put a small ball or any object, any toy in front of a baby, which is like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, or any month which is less than 12 months, the baby is able to play. You'll find that that baby is always trying to grab that toy regardless of distance because it doesn't understand the depth of the field. Okay,
Mm.
it doesn't understand whether the ball is grabbable or not. Okay, it doesn't understand it is
Mm.
1 feet away or 10 feet away. Okay,
Mm.
because the eyes we have, the eyes themselves are just machines. Okay, they cannot perceive the distance and depth of the field what we're looking at.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
so with time we understand the 3D nature of the world. For the baby, the
Mm.
whole world is 2D.
Mm.
Okay, in 2D picture, we don't have any distance thing in real. Okay, if you draw a picture of any scene, okay, practically speaking, all the objects in a picture on a 2D plane, they don't have any distance differentiation into them, right? If you draw a
Right.
river, a hill, a house, a lake, all the things are on the same plane. Okay,
Mm.
but
Mm.
these photographic elements like shadows, lighting angles, and our understanding of the object, it brings the depth thing into the picture. So we make it up,
Mm.
right? So the same way
Right.
camera doesn't understand whether the object is near or farther, the same way our eyes and our simple brain, when it is born, doesn't understand the
Mm.
differentiation of distance. But with
Mm.
time, baby understands the object differentiation and depth understanding, right?
Right. Right.
So it's a very interesting neuroscience underlying these things. So the way baby understand this simple fact of depth, the distance, what I'm speaking again and again, depth is basically distance. Distance from ourselves
Mm.
is the depth of the field, vision field. So we understand the things with age, with experience, this light, distance, the other concepts of our society and all the things, right?
Mm.
So the same way, like what happens in our brains, the patterns are fed. Okay, if I show you a cat is an animal, right? It can be well defined,
Right.
but we human beings are good at making up things. Like if I take a ball, if I put 2 3 mustaches on it, 2 eyes, a nose, like that, uh, like we can say it's a cat face, right? So cat
Mm.
face, cat is defined thing, but cat face is not a defined thing. We can make out cat out of anything. if we have a pen, right?
Hmm.
Then there comes up other things like if we look into the clouds, we can make up things like we can say that cloud looks like an elephant, that cloud looks like a duck, right? So what our brain is doing, our brain is identifying the pattern. So this is how a human brain works, how it learns.
Hmm.
So what data scientists and the programmers of machine learning did, they fed the huge data, what a cat face can be. All like they fed a huge database of cat faces to that program. Okay, see,
Hmm.
this is cat, this is cat, this is also a cat, this is a fat cat, this is a slim cat, this is uh, also white cat, black cat. Okay, so
Hmm.
after going through these billions of images, the program now understands how to recognize a pattern for cat, right?
Okay.
So this is how the machine is learning now. But this thing is very much simple example of thing like what a cat can be. Back in 2014, 15, by those times, it was a very big thing. Like if a computer can identify a cat face, a dog face, a human face, right?
Right.
Because basically computer doesn't have any knowledge of things itself and like objects. Okay, for it, it's all bits. If we give an image to a computer, for that computer, anything that is fed to it, it is a like data, raw data, bits only. But to make up objects and things out of it, it is called image recognition pattern. Basically, back in those days, it was image recognition. It was very revolutionary thing because it was being used by military, law enforcement. Okay, because if a drone is flying above an Iranian or Iraq town, and they want to
Hmm.
identify if that face is a human face, first thing. Second thing, if that face is in the database of known terrorist, and if they want to attack it, right? That was the practical
Right.
implication of image recognition in those days. Now it has come so forward that the security alarm systems are also being like they are also using all these kinds of softwares to keep watch on things in security systems basically, right?
Right.
So computer started learning, but that was again it was very crude thing. It can identify among sounds, images, these basic things. But then
Right.
came up with the thing of language. When we put together our knowledge and language skills, then comes up the speech. The thing which
Okay.
Alan Turing came up back in those days, 50s, we are returning to the similar definition. If like I'm talking to you, what I'm trying to do, the all the data I have gathered over all this period of time, I put I assemble all those data into words and sentences. I make meaning
Right.
out of my known data, and I want you to know it, right?
Right.
So this is speech synthesis, you can say, or thought synthesis. Basically, thought synthesis. So
Hmm.
this thing now computer has started to doing it. What ChatGPT is this thing. ChatGPT has been fed with a huge amount of data till December 2021. If you ask any
Hmm.
question, what is YouTube? This is a very basic question, basically. But if you ask it, what is the sad story of Alan Turing? Now I purposefully asked it, what is the sad story? Then what it
Hmm.
will do? It will pick up that sad part of his life and it will put
Hmm.
together sentences and paragraphs, information into sentences and paragraphs accordingly. And it will try
Hmm.
to elaborate you what was the sad thing, what made the demise of Alan Turing, how he was
Hmm.
killed by Britishers. Okay, that is
Hmm.
uh, uh, something of dispute. Okay, it is a disputed thing,
Hmm.
but it was so. So it can like talk to you, like not talk. Like, it can display the whole data in front of you in a story format. Okay, so it will go on telling you all the parts of his story, and it will end the story with a sad narrative or that sort of thing. So
Hmm.
ChatGPT, if you interact with ChatGPT, okay, It's so smooth on language front, and human language uh, is one of the best examples of intelligence. Language is
Mm.
an intelligence thing. Okay, language is not data or information. If you put together data and information into meaningful sentences and
Mm.
paragraphs, then only it is information, then only it is speech, then only it is language, right?
Mm.
So language
Mm.
is something which needs intelligence. So ChatGPT has cracked that thing right away, right now. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Previously, if you Google anything, it will show you up topmost websites about the thing, right? But
Mm.
it is not that search engine is not able to put together that information into a simple format,
Mm.
into a meaningful format, into a story format, like the human being tells you something, right? It's just a mechanical
Mm.
thing. You put a search word, it displays you searches. You have to go through that searches to understand the thing yourself. But
Mm.
now, what I did, I put together a lot of information, and I'm telling you a story about artificial intelligence. This is a
Right.
humanly thing, which
Mm.
Google cannot do. Any search engine
Right.
for that matter cannot do. But recently, what is
Mm.
happening now? Google is in a, a bit of trouble first time in all these years,
Right.
because
Right.
Microsoft and its Bing. What Bing has done, Microsoft has done. Microsoft invested into OpenAI, the company which has this product ChatGPT. Okay, ChatGPT is the product
Right.
of OpenAI company, and the
Right.
heavy investors are Elon Musk, Microsoft. What Microsoft did, they integrated this ChatGPT into Bing. Okay, now
Mm.
it's
Mm.
in primary stages. Search results are not like that good, not consistent ones. Okay, sometimes it
Mm.
spits out some wrong information also. Okay,
Mm.
but this is the start of it. First time somebody has challenged Google. Now, what Google
Right.
has done, Google itself also has this language model. Okay,
Chatbot.
ChatGPT is a
Mm.
language model. They have Lambda.
Okay.
Yeah, they also have their own artificial intelligence based language model, which is called Lambda. But they are a giant. If they introduce anything like this beta thing, the things which are still in
Mm.
testing phases, they
Mm.
can uh, they cannot afford any mistakes. Okay, that's why they are cautious to introduce Lambda into their search engine yet. But
Mm.
Microsoft, on the other hand, is a player which can take a risk. Okay, and that's why they took the risk and they introduced artificial intelligence language into their Bing search engine.
Right.
Okay, this is the thing. Okay, this is what I told you so far is uh, uh, a surface thing. Okay, this is just how the journey had been so far.
Right.
But now the whole picture is going to change for the humanity,
Mm.
for very good or for very bad. Okay, which
Mm.
we yet to know what is going to happen.
Mm.
See, throughout the whole human history, and I think we'll take a pause here because we have laid background for the future discussion now. What is
Right.
AI?
Mm.
And now we have talked about AI, but how it is going to affect the future and why it is so important. This
Mm.
we'll talk in later discussion. Okay.
Right. Mm.
Okay. I think you have a good idea about things now.
Yes. What are the? Yes. Yes.